Hi everyone, week 6. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Let's just get straight into it. I feel like I take forever to just kind of get to the point in these videos, so we're going to do and I'm literally doing it right now. Let's just get straight into it. I was really excited going into this week because it was about money, which was a topic that came up last week a lot and really had me thinking about where I'm at in terms of my job situation, really had me questioning what I'm doing, how I'm earning income, that honestly, I'm realizing I'm not doing it the right way. I'm kind of just doing it just because it gets me income. And I was noticing that I have a lot of preconceived notions about earning money and income that were not healthy. And I was excited that this week would maybe start to change that a little bit. I went into this chapter looking for a lot of hard answers. And I was really hoping Julia would talk about how to make your creative career lucrative. I realize now that that was pretty naive and way too quickly going into something like that in this book. I'm still recovering, but that's just me. That's just me really wanting to be a professional artist as soon as I can, and I need to be more patient. It was interesting though, because when I read this week's chapter, I was honestly pretty disappointed. I remember walking away from it and reading the tasks too and just thinking like, what the fuck is this? How is this helping me at all? It just wasn't what I hoped it would be. I didn't really feel like the tasks correlated that much with the topics this week. And I just kept putting off my tasks and I was doing other things. And then finally yesterday on Saturday, I was like, hey, you know what? This is my last day. Let me do my artist date. Let me do the tasks. Let me see if I can get anything out of it. Like, let's not be a idiot about this. And I wish I had that mindset earlier. I wish I'd reread the chapter. Actually, I reread the chapter this morning, and it resonated with me a lot more. I think I took away from it way more this time without having my expectations into it. I was actually able to dissect what Julia was getting at. It's funny to me, though, that I went into this week with such hesitation, and then it ended up, this might be one of the most pivotal weeks for me. I will get into what worked for me this week, what stood out to me, and let's just get into it. This is actually something I was talking to my brother about last week, and it's interesting that it turned up in this chapter because it's dawned on me that I've always associated work with misery. That's not to say I've never had any jobs that were enjoyable or I had some fun at, or at least like were good to me. It's not like I've only done brutal jobs, but I've never done anything that I've truly enjoyed or felt a lot of passion for. Or quite frankly, I feel like I've really done that much for my aspiring career. They've just kind of been ways for me to make money, and that's it. And that needs to change. Some of it just comes with reframing. I think I need to start finding a way to think that and accept the idea that, yes, I can make money by doing things that I enjoy. I do need to put the work in, but I can find a way to have fun and feel passion in my work and earn some income from it. It's a little tricky as a filmmaker, especially if you're trying to make narrative works, but I have a couple ideas on how I can do that, and I want to start implementing that. A major focus of this chapter was abundance, and I've had a bit of a hard time accepting that. I've talked about this in previous videos, but being open to the idea that you can take the steps towards something and rewards will come. I guess I just have to start creating and putting work out there and hoping that I'll get something back from it. But I think too, and Julia mentions this in the chapter, like even in little ways, like there's things you can do in your everyday life to treat yourself, reward yourself, indulge in authentic, what she calls as authentic luxuries, things that are actually treating yourself. It doesn't have to be high-end stuff, doesn't have to require a lot of spending, but just being in tune with the things that you enjoy and being open to those things coming to you, or listening to yourself and letting yourself indulge every now and then in those things. A big way that I need to work on that, and a big thing that I learned this week from my experience with it, is giving my inner artist, the time that I deserve. Sorry, real quick, just because I can hear it as I'm talking. I am sick again. I got a cold this week. That's part of the reason I also wasn't as productive. I wasn't feeling my best. God damn, man. I guess I just keep pushing myself way too hard. Not getting enough sleep. I mean, that's always been a struggle for me, but yeah, a little under the weather again. So if I sound a little bit nasally and congested, I do apologize. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, time. Giving myself the time that I deserve. And I did let myself indulge in more of that this week, and it felt so nice. I think another thing that I struggle with, unfortunately, especially with the idea of authentic luxuries and pleasure, is I do have a bit of a hard time finding ways to just enjoy myself. I feel like almost everything I do, there's some other motivation behind it, whether it's to please another person or to lead to something bigger down the line. Like, yeah, I love writing, for example, but in a lot of ways I really don't. It's a lot of work for me a lot of the time. It feels like work. A lot of the times when I do creative stuff, and that's why I'm trying to do more creative stuff for my artist dates, it still feels like work. I'm not really enjoying myself a lot when I'm doing it. I'm getting better. I'm finding ways to relieve pressure and just do it for the sake of doing it. But it still kind of feels like an obligation. I still feel like I'm doing it because I feel like I should be putting in my time in to be a professional. It's rarely just because I want to write or I want to make a song or I want to take photos or whatever it may be. I do find it a little bit hard to just tap into feeling and understanding what I truly enjoy. Honestly, when I actually tap into doing what I want to do, a lot of the times I just want to lay down and rest. Maybe that's a sign that I still don't give myself enough downtime. And then maybe if I do allow myself more downtime, I'll be able to tap into doing what I enjoy. I'm not sure, but this is something I really want to work on this upcoming week, is how to actually listen to myself and figure out, what do I actually want to do right now? And only because I want to do it right now. So that was an interesting realization this week. I think I've been aware of that for a while, but this kind of pulled all the pieces together and realized this is something I really need. To tie into what I was saying about downtime, too, I've realized that I have a tendency to prioritize work above everything else, and I feel a lot of guilt when I just allow myself time to just do nothing, especially when it's just time by myself to do nothing. I really want to try to let go of that and spend a bit of time on just learning how to have fun by myself as an adult and do things just because I want to do them. This is also something that people close to me have talked to me about for a long time now. And it's a bit unfortunate that this is still an issue I haven't overcome. I wish, again, that this had resonated with me earlier this week, because this would have been really good to carry with me. But that's what this upcoming week is for. So I'm going to get into some of the tasks. Again, I was very hesitant to do a lot of them. They just didn't really connect with me when I first read them. Like, I had to pick flowers and leaves and rocks that stood out to me. I didn't really understand what that was for. When I actually went out and did it, my interpretation at least was to just be more open and look at the world around you and be a bit more observant and appreciate what's around you. Because, you know what? Actually, let me go get the things that I grabbed. They're really pretty. They're kind of dying now, but I guess that's how flowers work. Let me go get them. This is dangerous because I usually can't get focus back, but these are the flowers that I got. And these were the rocks that I got that stood out to me. Honestly, even though it was maybe a bit of a silly exercise, it actually ended up being kind of fun. I felt like a kid again. Time to go throw these away. I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that. But yeah, that was sweet. That was cute. I like that. What it had to do with abundance, not really sure, but that's okay. Another task that we had to do this week was just clear through some things in our environment. I didn't do as much of that as I could have or should have. Going to try to keep working away on that in current weeks, but I've realized I have a lot of things that I really just don't use and are just taking up space. Okay, so this is the real meat of what I wanted to get at in this video. I mentioned earlier that I was really excited to get to this week's topics because it was about money, which is something that I've kind of been thinking for a while. I don't have the best relationship with. 2 years ago, I ran out of money. I was spending very frivolously, and I just was not earning enough to make up for how much I was spending. I used to do a lot of freelance work, and what would happen was I'd get a paycheck that'd be really good, but I'd have to make that work for about a month, sometimes even longer. And I started getting really busy with school, and I couldn't do my freelance work the way that I was before, and I didn't have anything else to fall back on. And I just kept spending throughout the school year, and I completely ran out of money. I had nothing. And so after the school year ended, I was just working from one gig to the next, but I would only be getting like $100, $200 at a time. I wasn't getting anything big. And it was also the time of the strike, so there was no film work for me to be doing. And I was really, really stressed. And I had 5 months of having no money and just trying to make it work. And that's how I ended up getting the odd job that I work now, because I was just desperate for anything. And I've been there since. Again, I've mentioned I've been doing film work since. That's not like the only job I'm doing. But that's the only way I've been able to get consistent income. And I think that experience of being broke, of only getting work on set here and there and not getting paid that much, and just with the nature of the film industry, it's really hard to get consistent work. And I think it's made me afraid to leave my job, to change my line of work, to take a risk and just spend a lot of money for a little while, or to take a jump and not have any income coming in. Because I really remember how isolating and frankly miserable those 5 months were, where I just had no income coming in. And again, I was never starving. I was never like struggling to survive or anything like that. But being broke sucks. It really restricts what you can do. And I felt very isolated and lonely, and I couldn't really do much. And I mean, fucking forget creative work. I was only focused on finding a way to get a job or get my next paycheck. And I really, really don't ever want to live like that again. And I think I'm afraid that if I take the jump with my artistic pursuits, I will end up living like that again. Or I'll run out of money and have to get a job. And like I said in last week's video, end up right back where I started. And that does scare me a lot. But I'm trying to warm myself more up to that idea of taking that leap of faith. Again, I'm not too sure if I'm ready for that jump just yet, but I really need to make some changes and get a new work system going on for me, because it's not making me happy. It's taking up way too much of my time for something I really don't care about. Sorry if any of my coworkers or managers are seeing this. I really appreciate you and the opportunity, but it's not what I want to do, and I've been there for way too long. I've realized that fear of being broke again and just re-experiencing what that was like for me again is what's keeping me from doing it, and I gotta get rid of that. Wanting to be a professional filmmaker, especially in narrative work, making money in that, even on a professional level, is difficult. I think what I need to do is ease my way into that, and the further I get into it, let go of my job and just have faith that it'll work itself out. I'm going to start working away on how I think I can do that, so that I can just get rid of my job sooner. I think this is a decent way for an amateur filmmaker to break into professional filmmaking and hopefully earn a bit of income doing it. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'd like to talk about my artist date now. As I mentioned in my last week's video, I've wanted to do music for a very long time, and it's a passion that I don't take seriously enough. And I decided that this week, my artist date, I was going to just make a song and try to have fun with it and not worry about it. And I did it. Huge milestone for me. I've never honestly been able to finish a song before. The farthest I usually get is like finishing a little beat here and there. I really feel embarrassed about my lack of musical skill, especially because it's something I really want to try to work on. I know it's stupid. It's a dumb little mental thing I want to overcome, and I'm trying to overcome by doing stuff like this. So I'm very proud that I did it. I'm going to share what I made. I hesitate to do it. I'm pretty nervous. I've never finished a song, but I've never shared anything like this before. This is my first time even trying to attempt to sing, too. I don't have a great voice. Please don't judge me for this. This is me just trying to find my way into this. Yeah, don't have any expectations that this is going to be anything good. But here we go. This is the first song that I ever recorded and finished. I hope you like it.
I'm really nervous, guys. I've never recorded a song before, so just, be nice to me, please. I hate myself, and I wanna kill myself, and I don't wanna be here anymore. I hate this house, I hate this life, I hate this house, I hate my wife, I don't want kids, I don't want sperm, I also know why I am a germ. Yeah, fuck my life. Yeah. Anyway, happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you. This is my tribute to you, sweetie. Thank you.
What can I say? So there's a reason why that song is the way that it is. Basically, I started the day committing myself to completing a song and seeing it through for the first time. I needed to prove to myself that I could do it and that I could make something for the fun of it. And the start of it was going pretty well. I recorded drums. This is my first time recording my own live instrumentation too. Usually I just fuck around on Logic. I recorded the few chords that I know on guitar. I played the lower notes on the guitar too to have some kind of bass element going too. It was difficult. I don't think I stayed on beat all that well. I tried. Anyway, did all the instrumentation, was pretty happy with how it was going, and it was time to record the vocals, which is what I have the most insecurity about. I have a horrible voice, and every time I try to sing, I usually, even if I'm alone, I embarrass myself. And it's something I want to be able to do very badly, and I'm trying to muster up the courage to realize, you're never going to improve if you just keep this to yourself. Just try, and hopefully you'll figure it out, or, maybe at some point I'll do singing lessons or something, but I'm never going to get anywhere if I don't try. But all day I just kept feeling very fearful. I kept putting it off. I kept psyching myself out. I'd start, and then I'd get all panicky and I'd stop. Anyway, I finally mustered up the courage to start recording some vocals, and my brother walks in. And I was pretty annoyed at first because I just started doing it and committing to it, and he was interrupting my flow. It was actually such a blessing in disguise, though, because he had just finished making a song himself on GarageBand, and he played it for me, and it was so goofy, but he did it for himself, and it was just for fun, and the song was actually really fun, and I enjoyed it a lot, and it just made me realize that even still, when I'm trying to do this for myself, when I'm trying to do this just for fun, that I'm still taking it way too seriously. So the reason why my vocals were so dumb is because I realized I don't need to make this a chore for myself. I don't need to make this work for myself. This is supposed to be for fun. This is supposed to be enjoyable. I don't have to be of a professional standard yet. I should just be doing this because I enjoy it. So I decided to say fuck it and just record some goofy shit like that. But it was a very valuable lesson, and it's something that I hope to carry forward with me going forward. Hey, I have a finished song now. The original version was about 2 minutes, so I've done it. That's a huge milestone for me. I've psyched myself out of committing to a full song for like 7 years now. The fact that I finally done it, and I did it with live instrumentation. I didn't do it on Logic. It was just completely based on recordings. Even though it's as stupid and really as awful as it is, it's a step in the right direction, and it's making me more comfortable with making this, but more importantly, just having fun with it. And so I really hope this is something I can start doing more often, because it's really valuable to me. I'm very appreciative of my brother for just showing me that I'm taking this too seriously and to let go. On that note, too, later that night, I was working on my script, which I'll get into in a sec. My brother comes into my room again and plays me another song that he's recorded. And this one's even better. Production-wise, it's actually really solid. And this is something he's just very recently picked up. And at first I was actually a little bit jealous because this is something that I've been trying to do for about 7 years on and off. And I can't commit to it, and it makes me very nervous. And I'm very insecure about my skills, so I feel like even by doing it and putting practice in, I'm embarrassing myself in some weird way. I know it's all very stupid. But seeing that my brother just did this just for fun twice in the same day, and they came out really solid, really just shows to me that I can do this too. There's no excuse for me not to do this. And I also was able to get over the jealousy thing pretty quick because I realized, as Julie mentions in the book, creative abundance is everywhere. One person is not going to get more of it than the other. You just need to listen and tap into it. And so, in a funny way, my brother, just by passively making songs just for fun, really showed me that, I can do this too. And this can be fun and enjoyable. And this ties into what I was talking about earlier. Work does not have to be work. It should be play. And I think this is what I need in order to gain some skills in music and find my way as a musician. If I even get to that point, my focus right now is to just make some dumb, silly, goofy songs. And this is something I just want to keep doing. I'll probably keep doing this as artist dates or maybe just try to get at least one done a week or something like that. But when I have some spare time and I'm not working on film stuff, I want to really try to hone in on this and spend more time on this because it can be fun. And I do think I can find a way to actually make things that are good eventually. I just need to build the skill set first. And I think to build the skill set, I need to find a way to enjoy it, have a little fun with it. And to do that, I think I just need to get a little bit silly with it. So that was a huge lesson for me this week. And I feel very uplifted and honestly motivated from it. Because this has been a big obstacle for me for about 7 years. 7 years, this is something I've wanted to do. And not only have I done it, but I feel like there's a new way forward for me. And it's so funny because I know it's so simple. It's silly that this has never occurred to me before, but just the mental barriers, for whatever reason, were too hard to overcome until now. And here I am, finding my way. So I feel really good about that. I'm really happy about that. And then speaking of being in tune with flow and having fun, part of the reason why I was a bit hesitant to put time into my tasks this week was the last 2 weeks I've been so swamped with work that I haven't had a lot of time to actually develop the short that I'm trying to make and work on my script and get it in better shape before we shoot and stuff like that. And so I decided that when I have time to be creative this week, I want to spend most of that energy on my script. I'm very happy to say that I was able to do that. As I mentioned before, I was having a hard time figuring out if I should just make something kind of silly and goofy that doesn't have a great structure to it, just to get something made, or if I should lock in and rework the script and make it actually work better as a story first. And I feel like I finally found a way to keep the silly, surreal elements that I liked about it in the first place, but actually implement a better structure to it this time. And I think I found a nice happy medium for me. And I'm excited to get working on it. all week I had been chipping away at the outline. And then yesterday I just sat down and I just turned the outline into a completely new draft. I got it done. And I feel like that was me tapping into some synchronicity in a way. I just feel like everything has just kind of aligned for me yesterday to make me realize that, yes, being creative really is that easy. These are short films that I'm writing. This should not take this much overthinking to get something done or get something made. You should make it because you enjoy it. And I actually cannot believe that in one day I was able to make a song and get a whole script written. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot. And it isn't a lot. It isn't a lot. But I've been putting so much pressure on myself for so many years to have it be of a certain quality that I wasn't finishing anything. And the fact that not only am I at a point now where I can finish things, but I can finish things in the same day. Quick thought I had when I was editing the video. This is something I wanted to get into my video, but forgot to talk about when I was recording. The script has taken a direction that I wasn't really expecting. And if I'm being completely honest, I even have some hesitations towards. It just kind of feels like not the kind of thing that I would write or I would choose to write. But I'm just trying to trust the flow and have faith that this is the way the script needs to be for it to be better. And I'm trying to let go of that idea of forcing where your ideas are not letting themselves manifest. So I just wanted to mention that in this video. I'm just glad I'm at a point now where I can commit and get things finished and stop overthinking and just get something done. This is a huge, huge milestone for me. I still think I have ways where I put pressure on myself, especially with this upcoming short film, because I know I'm shooting this. I want it to be, at the very least, better than my last one. But I'm definitely, finally, taking the right steps to make this more enjoyable for myself, and that's really, really important to me. And I really hope that this has been a pivotal week to show me that I really can do this. It just takes putting in the time, having faith that it'll work itself out, and having fun. And I think if I can have fun with this, I'll want to do it more often. So, for the first time in a really, really long time, I'm actually very excited to see where my creativity is going to lead me.